And welcome back. Today we are flying out the G.56, highly requested, and a bit of a mid-mobile, so I understand why people want a video on it. It's not exactly stellar, but before we get into that, thank you to all my patrons and everyone looking to buy anything from the Convergence store. If you want this absolutely fantastic skill issue decal, you can get it through the link down below. But what is the G.56 like? Well, it's just a G.55 basically, at a higher BR, with a better engine, and the engine is definitely no slouch. It also turns into a nuclear fusion reactor if you get a map that's hotter than 2 degrees. So if you get a map like this, and it's going to be the same one for the next one, then you are going to be overheating almost 2 minutes into the game. It's a little bit annoying. The last game will be against Jets 7.0, 7.3, and we will be on a colder map, so instead of having to lay off the web at the end of the runway, we can lay off the web at like 4,000 meters. In reality, the overheat on this thing is pretty bad, and I do recommend you to run Mac. The thing is, even with Mac, this thing is still going to be a hot mess. See what I did there? The overheating isn't the main issue. In reality, this thing is basically just a Spitfire that's worse in most metrics. And you might say, well, it has 3 MG151s, but the MG151s nowadays aren't that fantastic anymore. So you really don't have real advantages other than the fact that your damage model is actually pretty damn tanky. And with that I mean you're probably going to make it back to base. It's not you're gonna take 20 mils and then out dogfight them anyway. Fighting a P51H, it catches you, it turns with you, it outclimbs you. It's always going to start at an advantage, and if the P51H has an advantage, it is going to kill you if he plays his cards right. Luckily most people don't fly that thing correctly, and you might get away with a lot of stuff. Not a fight I recommend having. F2Gs, they're much quicker. They accelerate very damn well, and if they dogfight you for a little bit and then try to run away, they're going to succeed. You are now energy trapped, and there's very little you can do about it. It's a very annoying fight, and basically everything at 6.0 till 6.3 is going to be outperforming you. Sure, a plane like the LA9 is actually a pretty fair matchup, but in general there is just really very little we can do. Of course, if it's a C-Fire or if it's a full down tier, something like that, you can do a lot. The issue is, very often, you are going to be running, you guessed it, into Jets. But more of Jets after this game. First, we are gonna take a look at a 6-kill game versus regular ass props. And this is the ideal way to make this vehicle work, starting above people. The issue is, very often, you are not gonna be ending up above people because the P51s, some of the Spitfires, the F2G, they're gonna start above you. And you can tell I'm already overheating, I'm constantly laying off the web, and no, I'm not using Mac. We go ahead on with the Spitfire, he's way below us, he breaks off a little bit prematurely, and he's gonna give us a free shot. So we just turn back in, and he is out of the match. We then go for the F4U, but he's going for the TAL 152 C3 above us. He takes down the C3, or at least crits him very badly, and we are just gonna pitch up for the F4U. Why? Because we are completely alone. We can actually do it right now. We are clear to do so, and I want this guy out of the match. He's a lot quicker than us, and especially at high speeds. We are not gonna do much about him. So I want him gone right now, and if he presents himself like that, I'll take it any day of the week. Now what do we have left? We have a P51H, a Spitfire, a C-Fire, and an AU1. What do? We wait for one of them to pitch up for us. We don't want to take the fight to them. I want them to take the fight to me. And I see the Spitfire in the background. He's kind of waiting. He's side climbing after the initial merge, which indicates to me that he's going to wait for me to actually drop some altitude. I dive on the C-Fire, and in the back of my mind, I'm keeping an eye on the guy that's, well, below me kinda. I mean, the other Spitfire that's climbing away. This guy's way too slow. We take him down. C-Fire FR47 is absolute dog shit. So I'm not really too worried about that one. And now I can do two things. I can go for the P51H and throw away every advantage that I have against the Spitfire. Or I just let this P51H sit on the deck. We are out of reach. He is going to ground pound. And I don't really have to worry about him. Sure, if the entire map was empty and it's 2v1 right now, it's 2v1, sure. But this P51H, in the near future, is gonna do nothing to us because we have much more energy than him. Sure, he outperforms us, but if you have this much of an advantage, you don't need to instantly jump on it. This guy is also going to continue to ground pound, and I am keeping my eye on him, because if he starts side climbing for us right now, I will dive on him, because I don't know how long the fight will take with the Spitfire, and I'd rather start with the Spitfire at a little bit of a disadvantage over having to start a 2v1 with a P51H. The P51H, luckily for us, keeps ground pounding. I look below me one more time to see if he does start climbing, and he doesn't. He's too low now, he's out of the picture, and we can start going head on and merge with the Spitfire right ahead of us. So what do? First of all, we spray from some decent range, just to scare him off so he doesn't full commit. We want to see what it is. It's a Griffin Spit, and we have been diving slightly since we spotted him. He has been climbing slightly since we spotted him, so we are going slightly fast. So I wanted to go vertical to then pressure the Spitfire into going up with me. Now he does turn better than us, and he does turn tighter, especially at stall speeds. But if you have enough energy, the fight like this is actually pretty doable. The Spitfire then just full commits with the Heinkel 162. Very big mistake. But, you know, he kind of had to do it. And now all we need to do is clean up the P51H. And we are going 630 kilometers an hour. This guy has been ground pounding for a little bit, and we still have some altitude to dive. So even if he was going straight for a while, we are going much quicker than him. Compression on the roll there kicks in, and now I don't want to rush it. I don't want to run away and use my altitude. I want to use my energy and just stay out of his guns, and he might outperform us. But in this kind of setting, when I have this much more energy and this much position, all I have to do is just keep it somewhat horizontal and wait for him to drop out of the air. There it is. Right in our guns. 300 meters, very easy shot. We set him on fire, and because P51H's very much like putting out fires, I was gonna go chase him down to the deck just to make sure that he would be dead. Luckily for us, he sends it right into the ground after killing 2 more howitzers. He got his RP word out of that match. I tell the TAR 152 to just go for medium tanks and see if we can actually win on tickets that way, in case the AU1 starts to camp the base, starts ground pounding, then runs back to the base or something. I don't want to lose on tickets, so I just ask him to go for the AI, and I'll see if I can deal with the AU1. Why? Because I don't have that much ammo to kill all the medium tanks. Take a quick look. Level 100. He should be able to do his part, whether it's going for the player with me or whether it's going for the ground units. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to pressure this AU1 into coming out, but he's already coming out on his own, so we are completely fine. The AU1 is a lot lower than us. We are already going 400 kilometers an hour. So all I have to do now is wait for him to pitch up for us. And I know that he's probably going to go for the head-on or ignore us. And I see him drop all his ordnance, which means that he does see us, because he's just going to come head-on. I push the head-on, go underneath him and roll out of the way. He doesn't get any shots in. And we do the same thing as with the P51H. We open a little bit aggressively, and then we just keep him horizontal, and he is not going to be getting a shot. The issue is that TAR 152 just turns right into this guy's head-on and takes it. Now he won. I hope you did see that AU1 was going to do absolutely nothing. He was going to die on top of that stall anyway. So for the AU1 to take that head-on, completely valid. That TAR 152, however, not sure why you would take that. So we just click on him. He baits him back onto him. And we go right into the jet game. Which is probably why you are watching this video. A lot of you guys have been struggling against jets in this thing, and that's completely valid. This thing really, it's too slow to handle these jets. It's too bad at high speed to handle these jets. And sure, a plane like an SK60, when you have an altitude advantage, you can just dive on it and you will be able to out energy it. You do want to be somewhat careful though, because well, SK60s, they're not very quick, but they do turn quite well, and a well-turning jet can very easily energy trap you if he uses his energy right. If you start above it, however, then it becomes a slightly different story. And luckily, none of the F-89s or airspan F-84s decided to climb, so we get free reign over the altitude, so we can pick and choose who to engage. And I see this small little furball on the deck, 2 slow F-89s together with an SK60, and I'm gonna jump that opportunity instantly, because all these vehicles are very, very dangerous. So we take down the F-89. He's slow, he's an easy kill. SK60 starts pulling in. I'm not worried about him, because I can out energy him on the spot. The other F-89 is also very slow, so we keep on diving. We shoot him down, and then we are gonna climb away from this SK60 for at least right now. I can take him in a dogfight right here and right now, but I don't want to do that in case there are multiple people around. I'd rather secure a little of that energy back, get a little bit of altitude, and now we don't burn nearly as much energy in the long run. Now I'm gonna convert some of that altitude back into a dive field to merge with the SK60 and not fall victim to those 30 mils. We head on him, and all we need to do now is stay out of his guns, stay horizontal for a little bit, but he's almost out of energy, so I'm just gonna be as aggressive as possible, go downwards, chase him immediately, and we get a pretty easy angle here to shoot him down. We disassemble his plane, and we are gonna put it back into a little bit of a climb. The issue here really is, it's a little bit of a snooze fest, and now the real issues of this plane start to shine through. We are climbing now, we need to get some altitude. The issue is the entire map is littered with clouds, and because clouds are client side, it couldn't be worse for us. Very big chance that those jets have a very easy time actually seeing where we are, even though we cannot see where they are. That is a problem, because we need the element of surprise, not the other way around. If we engage a jet that clearly sees us, we are not going to be killing them unless they are already going super slow, like the F-89, the second F-89 that we killed. That luckily he was too slow to do anything about it, but in general you cannot really permit jets to see you. You need to take opportunity, you need to take chances of who to engage. And if I engage those two F-89s on the deck and they simply split up and run away, I end up killing one, the second one energy traps me, and I die right then and there. Very opportunistic plane. It is not a consistent plane at all. And the games you're seeing here are a little bit lucky. I wouldn't call them cherry picked because I didn't do that many games, but it is a very stressful plane, especially if the jets play it right, if they play together with a prop especially. A P-51H, while you might have an edge in the dogfight, it is not massive, and it takes quite a while to dismantle a good P-51H pilot in a dogfight. But if he doesn't want to dogfight you and simply plays it very passively, there is literally nothing you are going to be doing, which is an issue, because well, you are at 6.3. You are going to be facing P-51Hs at your own tier. It's stressful. There's not much you can do. Against jets, I mean, it's the same as with the Key 84 Hey. 6.3, the LA9. The LA9 at least has that very good high speed performance in terms of maneuverability. This thing kind of locks up, turns a little bit into a shit brick, and you really just have to hope that your team plays around you and that the enemy also plays around your weaknesses. They climb up for you, that they throw away their advantages, that they actually stick a dogfight with you. In a dogfight, sure, you can do some things, but man, is it painful if they actually play it right. A21 comes in, he is in a 3v1 here. He's completely occupied with the other two guys, so I just come in and lick him up. He is down. We go for the next one. We go head on with the F-80, but I notice that he's already coming at us. So right now, I unfortunately have to break off. Second F-84 comes in, so I don't want to go too vertical. I want to make it somewhat slow. I notice that he's very much busy going for the Su-11. So we are going to try and cut him off and see if he can catch him off guard. Maybe he doesn't see us. Maybe he's still turning for the Su-11. And if he was, he would have died right there. But he didn't. He's flying away. And there is no use in me actually trying to chase this guy, because he's gonna go twice my top speed, literally. So literally no use to chase this dude, and I'm just gonna be climbing. Why? Because I want to set up for the next engagement, which is the most important part about this vehicle. Positioning, target prioritization, and just getting hella lucky. What am I doing now? Well, not much. I'm gonna try to fly towards my teammates. I have a Kika and an Su-9. The ME-262 clearly has no indication of trying to work with me. He is not gonna be catching the F-84, and I can't catch him chasing the F-84. So there's no use in me trying to stay with him. That guy is probably gonna die because it's 3v1 on that side of the map. And I decide to fly towards my team for a change. Which, yes, I know it's pretty rare to see on my channel, but with a vehicle like this, you are kind of forced to. So, what do we do now? It's simply a waiting game, and a lot of this vehicle is simply waiting. Waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for the right circumstances, and just waiting until someone makes a mistake. As for the Su-9, as to the Su-9 if he's actually coming to help, because it looks like he's going for ground units, which is exactly what he's going to end up doing. He says sorry no in a second, and I of course ask why not. There you go. Why? It's 3v3. We have the ability to win here, and instead of going for more RP, a win, he goes for 20 RP more to get a few ground units. I don't understand it. I really don't. I get it. If you bomb and then keep on going, get some RP in and then keep on going for the enemy planes, completely feasible. You get some RP, you lower the tickets a little bit, and you increase our likelihood of winning. And if you then keep going for the other fighters, you can actually support the rest of your team and make sure that something actually happens. He bombs the medium tanks, which is completely fine. Kika is coming in to help us. The 262 is about to die. There he goes. And I just want to kind of marinate these guys, is that the right word, before the Kika comes in. Now these guys really like flying near the airfields, and especially that F-80. You saw it earlier as well. He kept going back to it, and he really likes using it as cover. He's not blatantly abusing it, but it's just a bit annoying when you have these kind of vehicles and you still loiter around your airfield this much, especially if you actually use it quite often. So now I just don't want to go near that airfield, and the fact that airfield is in the middle of this area here is going to make it pretty annoying, because if we get split up and if I have to R2B, for example, which is going to end up happening, and the airfield is in between us both and I change my mind, I can't get to him anymore. It's done. I need to fly all the way around him, and then I hear something, a jet. He's right below us, he's not very fast, and he's directly between the two airfields, so right now he's actually vulnerable. So I'm going to dive on him, I'm going to push the head on, he's not going to be pulling into that, we only get a few hits. And we are just going to stick this dogfight, because I know the Kika is coming in. I don't know where the F-80 and the F-84 are. I have a feeling that one of them is landing, and the other one is, I think, quite far away. And the only reason that guy didn't die right there was because he has 2 pilots. If he didn't have 2 pilots, I could have done something about this F-80 here. But I can't, because he's flying towards the airfield again. So I break off. I'm going to try to keep my energy a little bit. I don't want to web too much, because, well, I'm going to burn through my fuel, and I only have 5 minutes left. So right now I see the F-80. He's not that quick. He's going for the Kika, and I might be able to actually catch this guy off guard. I dive on him. I want to do a loop over, but I cannot, because the SK-60 is coming back. So instead I'm going to push ahead on with the SK-60. We dodge him. We pull up over his nose, and now we do what we did previously. We bait the SK-60 into a fight. He's now very slow, and if he wouldn't kill him there, I would have a few seconds later. The F-80 and the F-84 are now both too far away from me. I need to RTB, I only have 4 minutes of fuel. The Kika is chasing the dude, but he's very clearly just gonna head back to the airfield, and another guy is gonna end up dying to it. Maybe not directly, but he is gonna get chased into the AA, he is going to get his engines fucked up, and he's then going to succumb to his damage. I need to RTB, I don't have the speed here, I don't have the altitude, I don't have the ability to really do anything here. And I asked the SU-9 to please come and help, because I know, yeah, that's his answer. I know exactly what's going to end up happening here. The Kika is going to fly through the AA, he's going to get absolutely messed up. And these 2 guys are in the squad. And I do not fancy fighting an F-84 as well as an F-80 that are together in a singular squad. And they are actually playing it somewhat correctly. They are also using the base, which I'm not really a fan of. But it's not blatant, it's not super annoying yet. But they are using it, so I need to make sure that I don't fight them around this area of the map, because I know that if I stall one of them out, if I get one of them slow and I can actually pounce on them, by the time I catch them, they are going to be next to the airfield again, and I'm not really having that. So I want to go back and help the Kika. He's already messed up completely, and there is just no chance I'm actually going to do anything. He's going to get gunned down by the F-84 after also getting damaged by AA a little bit. And here we are. We are now climbing. We took minimum fuel because the match is only going to last 6 or 7 more minutes. So I'm not going to need more. You can see in the chat we are having a little bit of a conversation. And then they pop a blind hunt on us. Now the thing is, I only have to survive for about 4 minutes. And I'm not going to do that by camping the airfield. I'm going to do it by having some altitude. Because I know that if I have some speed in this thing, these 2 guys are probably not going to be killing me before the game ends. And they need to come to me now. I have a ticket advantage, they need to kill me. All I need to do is not die. I have the advantage here. Not in terms of planes, but in terms of situation. I dive underneath the F-84 and I notice that the F-84 is going for a little bit of an energy trap. But it's a little bit ambitious. You're not very quick. I have 320mm and I know he's not going to be able to see me shoot. Hold the trigger down, hit him a little bit, hit him again, and that's a burning ass wreck. Luckily, the blind hunt went on the other guy, Mr. Ballenknijper, or Speedo, like ball squeezer. It's like very tight underpants in Dutch. So I slap him with the question mark. Why? Well, you see in the chat. Why? And we're just gonna continue on diving on this dude. And I know that I can go pretty damn quickly and not rip my wings off. So what do? I'm simply going to cut off his flight path. Right now he's not very fast. And all I need to do is make sure that he allows me on the 6. And he does exactly that. He should have actually contested me a little bit. Because now I can just dive straight at him. He could have turned into me and then flew away. And I wouldn't have caught him. But instead he chooses to fly away from me and try to outrun me. The thing is, when I come from 4 kilometers, you bet your ass I'm going quick enough to actually close the gap. I compress a hell of a lot, not really getting shots in, and he keeps turning the same way. Should have turned the other way, unfortunate, but that's how it ends. We are now directly on the 6 and all we need to do is clean up the game. And there you have it. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.